Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason Newland. This is Let Me Bore You to Sleep, Sunday edition. It's the Sunday. Is it Sunday, Vinny? So I'm sitting down on my chair, cuddled up to my little boy here, my little Vinny Manilli, hey? He hasn't had his dinner yet. We was having a proper punch up earlier. He was biting my feet, well, the straps on my pink Crocs. Bless him. And he was growling and everything. He was loving it. It's very aggressive. Very aggressive. So I've just had a little bit to eat, and I'm going to make this recording, then I'm going to go to bed. Yeah, I'm just going to chill out. I made a recording earlier. It was... yeah, I did it in bed. I was in bed. In bed! That was weird. I haven't done one of them for a long time. I'm quite enjoying not sitting at the desk though, because I have to do that for the editing, and I'm not loving looking at a computer screen anymore. Not for long periods of time. I think it's nice to just take a break from that. So when I do a recording, because, I never used to. When I first started doing these Let Me Bore You to Sleep recordings, I used to be in my black chair in the corner over there. I never had any equipment. Well, I had equipment. I mean, as far as I was recording it. But I never had a laptop I was never looking at a laptop or looking at a phone or anything like that, as far as I remember. I'd just be reclined and try not to move too much, because that chair really squeaked a heck of a lot. So, did I say only listen when you can safely close your eyes? Also, my website's jasonnewland.com. All my recordings are on there. All the latest recordings are on the first page when you go there. You can download them, you can stream them, you can even change the speed that you listen to them. So if I'm talking too fast, you can slow it down. I wonder how many people actually do that. You can also fast forward and stuff. What else? My Facebook group is Jason Newland's Boring Group. Although I've lost 2 members, I lost 2 people have either left the group or come off of Facebook. I'm not sure. So if you are listening and you've left Facebook because, I don't know, maybe I farted too much or something, I do apologise. But if you'd like to join, you're welcome. There's a link on my website directly to the Facebook group. It is a private group, but you're welcome to join and you will be accepted. As long as I don't know you in real life, because I don't have real people. Real people? I don't have family or friends on my Facebook group. That has annoyed a few people over the years, but it's fine. I'll try and explain it. I don't have family or friends on Facebook, full stop. You know, if someone... I did in the past, you know, in the early days. It's like, 'cause it was exciting. Facebook me. I'll Facebook you. Bit like email. Remember when emails? I'll email you. Or texting. I'll text you. Wow, someone's going to text me. Do you remember you get your first mobile phone and that very first text and the old dee 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 dee, whatever it used to be? It's like, wow, I'm popular. People really like me. They're sending me texts. God, I remember probably like the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, probably more than the 90s. The amount, all you'd hear in public, dee 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 dee, or whatever, like texts coming through constantly, and that ping noise, dee 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 dee, or sometimes it'd be different sounds. It's like, come on, stop it, stop it. Don't seem to hear it so much, but then I'm not around humans, so I guess it might still be going on. But I never really enjoyed it. I didn't even like hearing it myself on my own phone. As soon as the vibration option was available, I remember I was in a shop, in the mobile shop, and I got a new phone, and they said it also has this new version has the option to vibrate, and I was very excited. Got a bit of a funny look from some of the staff. Like, why are you so excited about this really small phone that could fit in tight places and it vibrates? I said, no, I don't. It's not that. I don't want it going beep, 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 beep. I'd rather just vibrate wherever I put it and let me know, in my pocket, I mean, and let me know just that way. That's a much nicer way. Even I got my eyes closed and I can visualise that silver phone I used to have. Oh, I like that little phone. A bit of a 2004, I think, maybe 2003, 2004. Yeah. Those was the days. Ooh. My very first mobile phone was, I think I got it in 1990, either right near the end of 97 or early 1998. It had an aerial on it. That's how old it was. I mean, it was new then, but it had an aerial. There was no... I mean, the screen was kind of basic. I'm not even sure if texts existed back then. It was phone calls. There was no vibrations on the phone, that is. Yeah, I don't think there was text then, and definitely not email. I mean, email existed, but that was, via a computer. And I remember when text came in, oh, you can send messages, SMS. SMS, what's that stand for? Small messaging service. Wow. Because it's on a phone, so there's small messages. I'm pretty sure, I don't know why, I might be making this up. Pretty sure there was a limit to the characters you could send. A bit like Twitter. Remember when Twitter came out and you could write like 3 words or something like that? But let's not talk about Twitter, eh? I used to be on Twitter. I used to post all my stuff on there just the same as I did on Facebook and anywhere else that was available. But I don't know, I lost my account on Twitter. I've got locked out. I don't know, I just forgot what my password was, forgot what my email address was. Then I opened another one, and then I'm still on there, but it's just there hasn't been a post done in about 5 years, 6 years, because I can't get into the account. Do you know, on MySpace I used to have about 50,000, over 50,000 friends on there. I just wanted to tell someone. I just remembered. Because every now and then I talk about MySpace, and maybe I'm just trying to keep the memory alive of MySpace. Because I think there's maybe a lot of people, firstly, don't know what MySpace is, don't realise that they were there. You know, if it wasn't for MySpace, Facebook wouldn't exist. MySpace was the first popular social networking site. So popular. And then MySpace. That was very Star Trekky, wasn't it? That's turned into a Western soundtrack. Yeehaw. I remember when I was a kid, we used to dress up as cowboys and Indians. I liked being a cowboy because of the guns, but I liked being Indian because of the head gear and stuff like that. Now I realise the term Indian isn't used anymore, but it was then. So that was the term of the game, cowboys and Indians, just as cops and robbers, you know. Or if there was an enemy, like if you were playing a football match and you were England, the other team would be Germany, because they'd be the enemy. Because Germany, we had like an ongoing thing with Germany in football for, I say we, I'm not into football, but Germany have just been, they're just really good footballers. They're just, I think every country's good at football, especially compared to me. Although I did once score a hat-trick, and I remember I think I broke all the records at school for the most home goals in one match. In my case, it was 3. So if someone had told me that you changed sides halfway through, then I would have knew, you know. I didn't know. I was too busy spinning round until I got dizzy, pretending I was Wonder Woman, and then I'd just fall over. And then when I'd stop, I was no longer like dizzy, I'd get up and I'd spin around again. Sometimes the opposite direction. So I wasn't always, not always aware of the changes on the football pitch. Because it's not like we were all, we weren't wearing different costumes. Everyone was wearing the same stuff, you know, the same coloured shirts, the same coloured shorts. So it can be a bit confusing, you know, in a like professional or a proper football match. You know, there's blue shirts and yellow shirts, and like it makes it a little bit easier. But and it's the same team, you know, you've got your team players. But at school, it's like everyone's dressed the same. How am I supposed to remember who's on what side? Especially as that side changed every time we played. So every week or every twice a week, it would change. So it's like, I don't know who's on my side. I was always chosen last. And that's the thing I didn't really enjoy. Well, it's not the top thing, but it's one of the things I didn't really enjoy about, you know, going to school, is that whole the PE teacher or gym teacher, whatever you want to call him. He always like chose two of the top boys, his favourites, yeah. And then he'd say to them, "You're the team leader. Now you choose who you want in your football team, or in your hockey team, or in your basketball team." There's no other sports, was there? I don't mean in the world, but that we played. I don't think I ever played rugby. Cricket. Played cricket. But I think I only played cricket at junior school, but that didn't work out well. Because they learn quite early on that if you chuck a ball at me, well, basically, don't chuck a ball at me if I've got a piece of wood in my hand. Because if that ball hits me, I'm coming for you. And that is what I was like, unfortunately. So I got banned from cricket in junior school because someone chucked a ball, hit me in the knee. I mean, I was all padded up and everything with the bat. Hit me in the knee, but it hit me in the wrong knee. So I think you only have, I think I only had one pad on. It hurt. And they were laughing. And I thought, that almost hurt more. And I looked down at my knee, and then I looked down at the big, large cricket bat, which is probably as big as I was. And yeah, so I was not allowed to play cricket again. And then in high school we had hockey. And in hockey, as in football, there's a lot of fouling. And by that I don't mean like pooing on the pitch. What I mean is there's a lot of, in football, kicking and pushing and stuff. But in hockey, even though again we're all padded up, for some reason hitting each other in the shins seemed to be acceptable. But not to me. And it didn't make sense, or to hit the ball at my face. Or why would they do that? So I'm thinking, it's got to be a bit silly to do that when I have this big bit of wood in my hand. So I was chasing people. So I got banned from playing hockey. I remember saying, like, why? Why, PE teacher? Mr. Gym teacher, why are you banning me? He said, because of what you did. I said, I didn't do anything. He said, you literally chased someone around the field for half an hour, waving the hockey stick. I said, yeah. That's what you're supposed to do, isn't it? He said, yeah. When you're on the field, you're not supposed to chase them out of the school. It's like, well, just sportsmanship. He said, you followed him home. You were banging on the window of his home. That's not on. It's not that I didn't like cheaters. It's just, I just didn't like people. Yeah, fouls. I didn't. Again, I'm not talking about pooing on the pitch. I said when I say I'm not talking about it, I just talked about it twice, but I'm not literally talking about it as in, let's have a big conversation. No. But fouling can, a dog fouling on the grass. Say, well, that's like an English word for poop. But yeah, I'm not talking about that. I think the most annoying thing though with football, because I never got banned from football because that was the last sport. There was nothing else. They tried me with everything else. Basketball, that was pointless. I mean, I was just so short. I was pretty much. There got a point in high school where I came up to pretty much the chest of most of the other lads, the other boys in my year. I came up to their chest. I was so short. So there's a lot of like adults really. So, they'd gone through the change, gone through the initial menopause that boys go through when they're 12, 13, and turned into little werewolves. And I was still a little boy, really. I was still just talking with a high-pitched voice, like now, really. And yeah, I do. Yeah, I didn't care when everyone else was a kid, but then when they started like turning into men, really, that's when I didn't really like it. Didn't because I was still a kid, so I couldn't physically match them. Not that I could match them before, because I was tiny, but there's a little bit of it is a different energy, it's a different kind of strength, when someone's when someone's a man compared to a child, there's a different strength, and they could run faster, and I couldn't catch them with my hockey stick. No, I didn't. Tennis, I was only good at tennis against one person. And it was weird because no one else would play me at tennis because I wasn't very good. But I had a friend who would play me, but he was awful. And it was frustrating because I was like, now I know what it feels like to play myself. And now I know what it feels like for other people. Because I'm not very good. I wasn't very good at tennis. He was worse than me. I don't know if he was just doing it as a joke. It could be. Just as a little giggle. But it's frustrating, so I just hit the ball onto the roof and walked off. I mean, our relationship was starting to crumble a little bit at that point. Yeah. It's weird. But yeah, cops and robbers used to play that. Would wear a mask. So basically, cops and robbers, one would be causing trouble, bullying people, and the other person would be a robber. So yeah, it was. We didn't have to wear a big striped onesie with a mask and, for some reason, some French hat. Didn't have to do that. You know, those French hats. Actually, that's not. Now, maybe I was getting muddled up between mime artists. Do you know the mime artists in France with the white makeup and the French hat? I can't remember what it's called off the. Oh, what was it called? Beret? No, but I don't think it was a beret. Maybe it was a beret. And the big boots, all white, but stripes down the top, maybe down the whole thing. And then a mask, a little bit like Zorro. Zorro. See, that's really skillful. To be able to do that, yeah, whenever he fought anyone, Zorro, he always left a Z on their chest, but never cut them. Never injured their chest, but managed to do it so it ripped open their top, just in the shape of a Z. That's phenomenal. That is though, isn't it? I mean, it's like, that's skillful. To be able to do that and not cause any injury that's a skill that well, it's not a skill I ever wanted, but it's just skillful. I always kind of thought that would be quite cool to be a fencer. I remember saying to my dad I'd like to be a fencer. But, you know, I don't think he really understood what I meant. I was thinking he's going to go out and buy me a sword and maybe a nice mask. He bought me some varnish for a fence. What's that stuff he used to use? Is it varnish? There's another thing, isn't there? It stinks, like really stinks. Got to varnish the fence. You don't have to. Yeah, it needs doing. Yeah. But you don't have to do it though, do you? But it needs doing. My windows need cleaning, but they're not being cleaned. My carpet needs vacuuming. It's not getting vacuumed. My underpants need changing. That's when my dad just walks out of the room. It's like, one day we'll finish a conversation. The amount of Christmases that he's walked out. So yeah, I suppose using the term cowboys and Indians, that's what it was called back then. But back then we didn't have education about the indigenous people of different countries. That history wasn't really taught at the time. The thing is, it's going to be hard for a lot of people, anyone, I reckon, under the age of 50 or 45, won't realise how much Western stuff there was on television. You know, and this is stuff from the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. It was still being shown constantly in the early 80s. Western movies, TV shows based on the West. Even Kung Fu was based on the Western era. Clint Eastwood movies. And all those old movies from the 60s, like Paint My Wagon. I was born under a wandering star. You know, Lee Marvin and Doc. That was Clint Eastwood as well, wasn't it? I think I've got flies attacking me. Stop it. He's got a little hockey stick. What should I said? Where's my hockey stick? Hockey sticks are quite good because they've got a nice grip. So I remember, this is how bad it was. I was always picked last. So when we were queuing up, I didn't like that system. Really didn't like the system. It seemed to me almost like a form of bullying, like to just, or humiliation. You know, it's definitely humiliation, because the teacher just seemed to be, he'd just sit back, sit in a chair, start smoking a cigar, you know, eating truffles, giggling, because he just found it hilarious, just watching us all squirm. And then it got down to like the last maybe 3 or 4 people, and neither of the leaders or the boys that were in charge of the teams, neither of them wanted to pick any of the ones that were left. We were like, I don't know, like a roast dinner, and all was left was some cabbage. We were the cabbage. And maybe some of the fat off the beef. You know, the stuff that no one wants to actually eat. That's what was left. And perhaps a dead fly in the gravy. That's what I was. I was the fly in the gravy. And it's like, oh, it didn't really do my self-esteem much good, if I'm honest. I remember the amount of times I was chosen last. This is just only for football, and I was chosen last. No, it wasn't football. Was it football or was it basketball? No, it's football. And I was chosen last. I was like, I went to the teacher. I said, look, this is just ridiculous. He said, what are you talking about, Jason? I said, because everyone did an impression of Different Strokes back then. Were you talking about Thomas? Were you talking about Bob? Like, everyone did it, you know. Different Strokes was such a huge show, even though I don't think it was even on. I don't know if it was on in the early 80s. I know it was on in the late 70s. Different strokes to rule the world. Mork and Mindy. Do 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 do. That's the wrong tune. I loved Mork and Mindy. The thing about it with Mork and Mindy is, I think with a lot of sitcoms, TV shows, rarely, in my humble opinion, do replacement characters or new characters improve the show. So there was a TV show called Bread, and they replaced 2 of the main characters. Like Aveline was one of the main people, and she left, and they got another person in, and it wasn't the same because the first one was just so good. She was one of the more memorable characters in the show. They were all memorable, but she was, I say that, I can't remember. I remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9. Yes, I remember quite a few of them. But when they changed the characters, it didn't improve it. Or with Minder, when Terry left, they got in Arthur Daly's nephew. I still watched it because I'm loyal to a TV show. You know, especially when I was younger, I was very loyal. If I watched a TV show, I watched it every single week, every episode, regardless of what they did. I'd keep watching it. Not so loyal these days, perhaps, but back then I was. And I can't really remember too many times when the new characters have improved the show. With Minder, it really didn't. It was fresh, you know, it was different, but it wasn't the same because Terry and Arthur Daly were a double act. You know, that this is Minder. It's a really famous TV show from the 80s, really, I suppose, and maybe 90s as well. But yeah, it lost something. It lost Terry. So yeah. But then a couple of American shows managed to do it. And one of those was Cheers, because when Diane left the show, and I was a huge Cheers fan, like really massive. I'd watch it every Friday, and I didn't really know, like, what are they going to do? How can they replace her? They didn't replace her, but they did kind of got a new female lead character, or co-lead, and Kirstie Alley was brilliant, but just in a different way. Just so, yeah, just literally, I've never seen anyone that can cry. Well, I have met people that can cry easily, but like just, it was so funny to just start crying for just out of nowhere. And Kirstie Alley was great. And I think it was quite good because her and Sam, well, it's Rebecca, wasn't it? So Rebecca and Sam, it wasn't really about them. I mean, there was a little bit of a thing, wasn't there? But it wasn't really about them. It was more about her and wanting to be with whatever high flyer boss there was that had taken over the bar, or that was, yeah, she wanted to be a billionaire. So that was, yeah, that was, I like that. I can't think of the other one now because it's gone out of my head because I was talking so much about other stuff. What other replacement? Oh, Mork and Mindy. Now, Mork and Mindy, there wasn't a replacement, but there was an addition, which I think actually improved the show. I loved the show anyway. But when Mork and Mindy had a baby, Murph, and he was a fully grown adult, like a man in his 60s or whatever, 50s or 60s. 50s, I don't know how old he was when he did that show, probably 50s, 40s, 50s. So funny. Like, he was, to me, even though I was a massive Robin Williams fan, massive Mork and Mindy, Mork, Nanu, loved that. But Murph was just hilarious. I didn't realise at the time, because I was a kid, didn't know he was a very famous comedian. mirth, and his name's gone out of my head. It was never in my head, but he's, for those that know who he is, I know what I mean. He was known for telling stories, and he was very, very famous in America. And that it was just perfect at that part. I was going to say that probably no one else could have really done it, but that's one of those things. It's like, it's easy to say that, isn't it? But in reality, loads of people probably could have done it. They just would have been different. I mean, it's like saying, oh, no one else could have really pulled off the... I'm trying to think. Let's say the Rocky movies. Oh, no one could have done that. Sylvester Stallone, he made those his own, and yeah, he did. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt in that one. But the idea that no one else could have played the character, because initially the production company didn't want him to play the character, did they? They wanted another actor to do it. It would have been different, but it still might have been hugely successful, because the story was great. So imagine, I don't know, someone like Pee Wee Herman, or some Steve Martin, or someone that was famous around the in the 80s, 70s, or whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to think of someone. Imagine Pee Wee Herman. I'm just thinking of him shouting at Adrian with his squeaky voice. Made me laugh. I tried to watch his TV show, and it was a little bit... I don't know. I liked the Pee Wee Herman. Is it the Pee Wee Herman loses his bicycle or something? And just the way he talks, and he shouts and then talks, and very funny character. He wasn't really a huge star in the UK. I don't recall ever seeing Pee Wee Herman, the Pee Wee Herman show on television in this country. And I was a definite, TV addict, really, when I was a kid. I mean, I didn't stay up till late in the early 80s. I didn't start staying up till late on a weeknight or school night until I got my own TV. So I had a black and white TV when I was about 14. And that's when I started watching late night telly. Oh. It was among the most exciting time of my life, because for the first time, in privacy, I had complete control of a television. You know, I used to go into the living room after school. I'd watch Grange Hill, and often I wouldn't be bothered, because both my brothers were older. They didn't watch it. They didn't watch that show. My little brother was too young, so he didn't watch it. So, sometimes I'd have a nice hour where I could just watch TV on my own. But if one of my older brothers came in and decided they wanted to watch something else, they'd just turn the TV over. Or any minute I could be called in to do something, maybe it's dinner time, or, something like that, so that I could be disturbed. But when I was in my bedroom, upstairs, right at the top of the house, oh, it was lovely. I'd have all the lights off. Well, I had one light. I'd have that off. Have the TV flickering away. And I started discovering what happened after bedtime. Because I didn't know. During the week, I was in bed at, I don't know, 8:30, 9 at that time. I'm not sure what the time, probably 9 maybe. But you know, it was earlier when I was younger. Apart from at the weekends. So Saturday, I think maybe Friday night, Saturday, we could. But even then, because I had early morning paper rounds, working in the bakery, I'd have to get up at like 5 in the morning. So I wasn't staying up late at the weekends. But on a school night, regardless of what time I had to get up in the morning, because I wasn't going to watch it, I thought, well, I got TV, brilliant. I never have to leave my room again. Then I thought, oh, I'm going to have to eat. Why can't we have one of those lazy waiters? Is that what they call them? Where the food can be sent up. I did mention to my stepmom, I said, if you keep 20% of my pocket money, can you just deliver my food to my door, to my bedroom, room service? And she laughed. The amount of times that she laughed at stuff I said when I was actually being serious, it's amazing. She probably thought I was quite a funny kid, but I was actually being like, no, really, will you just deliver my food to my door? Because I didn't want to leave, because I had my television. That's all I needed. Television, my books, my little tape recorder to listen to music, my radio. For that little period. I mean, I must have been doing karate as well, so there was more going on, but something magical happened, because I remember thinking for years, what happens when I go to sleep at 8:30 in the evening? What happens? Because I hear things. There's people downstairs laughing. Because as I said, my brothers were a lot older. The parents were a lot older, and they'd be up till 10, 11 or whatever. And I think, oh, what are they watching? Sounds like they're watching television, but what is it? Sometimes they go downstairs and pretend to need a drink, and I'd pop in and I'd see like maybe 30 seconds of an episode of Kojak, and I'd be thinking, wow. Spend the next week walking around saying, who loves you, baby? That's going to be lost on most people. What is he talking about? He loved sucking lollipops. That's what he was famous for, being bored and sucking lollipops and saying, who loves you, baby? Great screen presence, old Kojak. Very memorable voice. What other things did I see on the telly? Sure, there was another show that I wasn't allowed to watch. Well, shows that were on that I didn't get to see. Maybe shows that I've never seen because they were on too late. The 10 o'clock news. I sometimes thought to myself, but what happens on that news? Is it different from the 6 o'clock news? What if something's happened and I don't know about it? Space Invasion or something like that. Not the game, but so I remember the first night of having my own television, and I sat down on my bed and I looked at it. Didn't turn it on yet. I just looked at it. I just let it all just soak in. My own television. My own television. And I can choose to watch any channel I want, as long as it's BBC One, BBC Two, ITV and Channel 4, because that's what we had, 4 channels. It doesn't seem particularly exciting if you break it down like that, but I can watch all 4. I can watch all 4 channels. Wow. There was no remote control. It was an old black and white one with a knob that you had to turn in order to turn it on, and then another one. So it was, I think I'm thinking about it, if you turn it. No, you had to pull it out to turn it on, turn it for the volume, and then there was another dial around it which would tune the television into the different channels, which is kind of weird, that whole thing. So it was an aerial, and it was a lucky dip really to see whether or not it'd work, which is, it's only 4 channels, but it was so exciting. The first time I sat down and I was about to watch the news at 10. What is this secret thing? What are they going to be talking about? Exactly the same as news at 6. 6 o'clock news, 10 o'clock news, it's the same. It's like, what? I mean, not every day, but it's like, it's just repeated pretty much the same stuff. Very disappointed. And I started delving. I started some research. The thing is, I didn't have a TV guide. There was a TV guide downstairs, but it was surrounded by humans watching television, and I was in bed and I was supposed to be asleep, so I couldn't go down there because they might notice me. So I thought, so I had to pretty much, I guess it's the equivalent of surfing the internet. I don't know if anyone uses that term, surfing the internet, anymore. Like cowboys and Indians, it's not used anymore. That's why I would never use it. I think the thing that annoyed me most about getting picked last is there was this one time, it's not even a joke, this one time this kid in a wheelchair was picked before me. It's serious, it seriously happened. It's like, it's just no respect. I got no respect. He was in a wheelchair because of his weight. He basically had a glandular thing. Really nice bloke. No one really talked to him. I used to say hello to him, because I thought, no one's talking to him. And just like, because he looks a bit different. I know what that's like. I've always looked a little bit different, really. I've just been too good looking. That's one of the problems I've had over the years. Too attractive. And I remember us talking to him and said, "You all right?" And he said to me, why are you talking to me? I said, what do you mean? He said, why are you talking to me? You keep saying hello and asking me how I am. I said, well, I don't know, just, I didn't really know what to say to him. And he said, it's just really weird. I said, why? He said, well, there's, I don't know how many people in this year, how many people in this school, hundreds of people in this school, right? Nobody talks to me. But you do. And I said, okay. I said, well, why do you look so sad? He said, because you're the last person I'd want to talk to. Why do I get stuck with you? All those other people, and I get stuck with you. I mean, have you not noticed you're even more unpopular than me? You get picked last. And I thought, that's a bit ungrateful. I just offered to eat half of his sandwich. But no. Some people just don't appreciate anything. There was this one girl, and just shows you how wrong to judge someone from. The thing is, I was judging her from years and years and years of being in the classroom with her. So it wasn't like judging her from appearance or judging her from like meeting her once or twice. I literally was in a classroom with her multiple times a week for 4 years. And I was also in the dances class with her for about 6 months or a year. So yeah, I knew her, but I knew her as in I'd observed her. She would not talk to anybody. She would not talk to a teacher. She would not do any work. She refused. Sometimes she'd have a tantrum and leave, but generally she would not do anything. And in the last year of school, we were all given, wasn't work experience, because I had work experience in a building firm, but this was a separate thing. It was part of some lesson, and school's full of those things, and lessons. So I was sent to this nursery, like a children's, not with plants, but a children's place where the kids go, nursery school. So I was sent there on a Friday afternoon, I think it was, or maybe, yeah, Friday afternoon. And I got picked to go with her, or she got picked to go with me, one of them. And I was like, oh, I don't know who was more disappointed, me or her. It was, I think we both, I just thought she was a weirdo, and she probably thought I was a weirdo. And it's really strange because we had to walk. Why? I think they were just making fun of us, because not only did they send us together, knowing that we never ever talked, never had a conversation in 4 years, knowing that she was probably the most difficult person in the classroom in the whole year. Maybe I was the most annoying, so perhaps that's why they did it. And we had to walk to the other side of town. I'm not even exaggerating. It was a good hour walk to get to this place. Okay, from school. Hour walk there, and well, the same back, I suppose. And we started walking for the first time, and we were just walking separate. I was trying to get ahead of her, but she was taller than me. It turned out we became best friends, but only during that lesson. How weird. we would chat and laugh, mess about, just really have a good time as we walked there and on the way back. When we were there, it was like fun. But as soon as we got close to the school, that was it. She stopped talking to me and ignored me until the next Friday. I was like, this is strange, because it's almost she had this. I think she was just pretending to be awkward, because she was really nice, actually, very funny, and good company. It was, yeah, very, very strange. And I don't know. I don't know what she thought of me. She probably. I don't know what anyone. I really don't know what anyone's ever thought about me, really. I can't read minds. That's what a lot of people say. That he can't read minds. He thinks he can, but he can't. The amount of people I've met that seem to know, they think they know what other people are thinking, and they don't. They really don't. And I think it's a good thing that we don't know what each other are thinking. Blimey. Can't think of any other TV shows where there's been a change in characters. Probably the Cosby Show, when they brought in, because remember, is it Haley, who was Claire Haley, the little girl who was hilarious when the Cosby Show first came out, and then she got old, and they brought in another little girl. I don't know if it was someone they adopted, or maybe it's one of their kids' daughters or something. And then she was really funny. So that was Claire. No, not Claire, because Claire's his wife. Claire. I can't remember. Haley? I know it's Huxtable. I know that's a surname. I don't even remember what his name was in it. Dr. Huxtable. Yeah, I don't know. There was a weird TV show, right? And this was in, I think, the early 80s, called Blake 7. Blake was only in the very first series, and then he wasn't in it anymore. I think they messed up a little bit with the title of that, didn't they? He wasn't in it. Now, I don't think he knew he wasn't going to be in it, because he was clearly the star of the show, because they called it Blake 7, because there was 7 people with Blake. Or there might have been 6 people with Blake, and Blake made the 7th. Well, I guess he would have made the first because he was the leader. Goodies and baddies used to be kind of another kind of game, because there was a lot of that. There's a lot of cop shows on TV, like Chips. I remember riding about on my bike and thinking I was in Chips. I was a police motorbike person, and what I used to do, and I wasn't the only one who did this, we used to cut up a plastic, what's it called, like fairy liquid bottle, and then attach it with pegs to the spokes So it clicked when the wheel went round. That was us turning our little bikes into powerful motorbikes. Apparently I didn't look so good. So I'd look better if I hadn't got stabilisers, which is a bit rude. I think all bikes should have stabilisers, so that when you just get off it stays standing up. That makes sense. It does, doesn't it? And all these bikes that have the crossbar, or not the crossbar, the crowbar. You know that bit where you have to put your leg over on a man's bike? Because the female bikes, they're still officially called men's and females bikes. If you look in the shops, they're there. I checked this out the other day, so I'm not going to get in trouble. Yeah, but you said cowboys and Indians. I said, no, I'm not saying that's the correct term. It's just that's what it was called back then. So, I'm not trying to cause offence or anything. Well, in that case, why do you keep mentioning it? I don't know. I realised I said it and I thought, oh, I can't really backtrack. You could have just edited it out and just carried on. I said, I know, that's the thing, you're right, I could just edit it out. But it's going to be impossible now because I've mentioned it too many times. And it won't make sense unless I leave it in the original time. I think this is what they called first world problems. I don't know, I'm not into that whole first, second, fifth, fourth world or whatever. Come on, let's have a bit of equality. That TV. 2 TV shows that I remember, like, for that period, that I'd firstly never seen before, and also became my 2 favouriteest programmes in the whole world. But it was a secret it's my little secret, because I wasn't supposed to be watching it. I was supposed to be asleep. They must have known. You don't give a 14-year-old a television in his bedroom and expect him to go to sleep. I don't mean not ever, but generally, I'd leave it on all night. But the 2 TV shows that I really remember from those, or 3 now, I've got another one I remember. But the ones at night, late at night, or at a time when I should have been in bed. Cheers, which I suppose maybe that was on a Friday night at 9. And MASH. Not MASH. MASH? MASH, the medical drama. That was MASH, wasn't it? Oh, MASH makes smash. MASH. Yeah, it's MASH. Yeah, MASH. So yeah, Medical Army something. Yeah, so I used to watch that. I loved them. Hawkeye and Klinger and all those people. Loved it. And watching Cheers, that was when Diane was in Cheers. Because, I watched Cheers all the way through until the last episode, which was in the early 90s. So it went on for quite a while, didn't it? Was it the early 90s or late 80s? I can't completely remember. But I think I started watching Cheers quite early on. Because I think it started about 84, roughly. So I must have watched it. Although, at that time, might still be the case, but at that time, England, or the UK, were always about quite a few months behind America with the TV shows. It's a weird one because what we would get, let's say there'd be sitcoms or like a really famous a show that we watched here that was American, that was big in America as well. We would get the Christmas episodes during the summer. It was ridiculous. It was, I mean, it might have been the same for America, getting the Christmas British shows in the summer. You know, because there was a lag, a time lag of quite a few months. That might have changed now. I know with the streaming services, there's not a lot of difference in time now. Usually the release date would be the same date in England as well as being in America or Canada or Australia. They'd kind of have the same release date quite often. Yeah. But Cheers and MASH, those was the two shows that I really remember watching and just being like, wow. So MASH was on BBC Two. Still sounds like it's the wrong name for the TV show, but it's the right name. It just sounds weird. And Cheers was on Channel 4. There was another show I used to like to watch where it's boxing. I think there was a boxing show on as well, but I'm pretty sure that used to be earlier in the evening, but I might be wrong. Yeah. Once I had that television, I didn't need to go downstairs to watch TV. It just didn't seem any point, even though it was a big coloured TV and all that stuff. I kind of rather just watch my black and white TV on my own. I've just preferred watching TV on my own generally. I mean, I like doing it with Vinny, providing he doesn't bark. But, you know, I think it would be different if I was, I don't know, if I was in a room with someone that was enjoying what I was enjoying. So someone that loved boxing or someone that loved, I don't know, the kind of movies or the kind of box sets that I like. Yeah, I think I'd be quite comfortable. Yeah. I don't know, really. I wonder how long I've been talking for. I really don't know. It's dark out there now. Not that long. $74. I just want to check because I'm going to be going to bed soon. I don't know what time it is. Yeah, it's 10:30. So it is time to go to bed, pretty much. And what I will do, hopefully this has been boring enough to send you off to sleepy land. I'll edit this first thing in the morning and upload it. Hopefully there won't be too much editing necessary, hopefully. Vinny's been very quiet. I think he's proper deep into a sleep. I know that if I go to get up, he'll growl at me if he's asleep. Don't like being disturbed when he's bub-eyes. This has been quite nice because I'm not any. Not had any distractions, no one at the door, No, nothing out in the garden. Not been looking at a computer screen. Not been looking at my phone. Haven't had the light on. Just relaxing and chatting about who knows what. A black and white TV, maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure how I got to this subject, but I loved that TV. I really did. I'm not really sure what happened to it. I spent most of the 90s watching black and white TVs, or at least the first half of the 90s, and then the first part of the 2000s as well, watching black and white TVs, which is, there was no reason for it, not really. I think I had or did I? I might have had a coloured TV, surely. Why would I have a black and white TV? Maybe I did. No, I must have had a coloured TV in the 90s. No, that would have been impossible to. I wouldn't have wanted to watch stuff on there on a black and white TV. I must have had. It was a portable TV. It must have been colour. I like to think it was. But in 2001, I had a black and white portable TV for a year or two. I had enough money coming in, I could have bought the biggest TV. I just didn't. I don't know why. I just watched this black and white TV. I don't know why. I really don't. It's very strange. I was working full time. I was doing fairly well. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. That's one of those weird things, really. Weird questions. I remember I got a portable TV with a built-in video, or no, DVD player in 2004. DVD player or video player? Ooh. That is the question, isn't it? Or is it DVD player or video player? I'm pretty sure I was still getting videos. I think it might have been a video player, because I used to go to Blockbusters and I was pretty much the only person left that was renting videos. Most of the places, it's mainly DVDs, and I just would not. Didn't want to. I wanted videos. That's what I was used to. Even though hardly anyone in the world used them anymore. Not in this country anyway. Not in the 2000s. Not for years, but I was. And now DVDs aren't even used anymore, really. It just seems to be streaming. streaming. I used to have loads of DVDs. I had loads of videos when I was living at the YMCA. Yeah, I did have a coloured TV because I had a video player, and I had loads of videos. Loads. I'd buy them though. I didn't go to Blockbusters. I bought the videos, and I'd buy loads. And one day I thought, oh, I'm going to get rid of these. So what I did is I donated them to the YMCA homeless place. So they had like videos to watch and stuff. There's loads of up-to-date videos. I had a pretty good collection actually. I don't know why. Why didn't I just go to Blockbusters? It was literally at the end of the road. Maybe I couldn't. Maybe I didn't know. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really say I didn't know where it was because I had to walk past it every day to go to work. I knew where it was, but it was across the road, so maybe I just couldn't be bothered to cross. Ooh. The thing is, back then, I remember standing in Virgin. It was either Virgin or HMV. And I'd be upstairs in the video department looking for something to spend my money on. And I'd be there till closing time. I just couldn't decide what to buy. And part of the reason I went in late is because there's less people around at that time. It just meant I could have more of a fiddle, you know, like have a little go through the stuff and look at all the covers and the backs of the covers, and without having to move away whenever someone sort of, because there's that kind of protocol, isn't there? If you're standing somewhere looking at something and someone sort of moves towards you, it's time to move away to let them go there. Well, you don't have to do that if there's no one around. I've done that myself. It's just like someone's standing there and I've kind of moved towards them and they've moved away. I remember saying to because I had a friend who worked behind the counter at HMV, and I mentioned it to him. I said, it's amazing, that technique. It's like human nature. You walk up towards someone and they just move away, and they're so polite and they let you look at the stuff. And he said, that's not the reason, it's because you stink. I said, what? He laughed. Have a bath. I did. At some point. I think Vinny just did a burp. So I'm going to go. So thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. And also be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. Lots of love.